It's 53 on this Monday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
So the controversial right to repair ordinance has now reached the November ballot, sparking discussion around how to improve rights for renters. So members of Duluth tenants and other renters gathered at City Hall to show support for the proposed right to repair ordinance that will be on the ballot. Now, the measure would allow tenants to fix minor maintenance issues themselves. If landlords don't respond within 2 weeks, renters could then be reimbursed up to $500 for the repairs. Now, early voting is open now, but residents have until Election Day on November 4th to vote.
A Duluth man is accused of secretly taking pictures and videos of dresses and skirts of girls at a high school graduation ceremony. 32-year-old Benjamin Goldsmith of Duluth faces several felony charges, including possession of pornographic material depicting minors. The incident happened at the Spring and Mariucci Arena in Minneapolis. Officers found Goldsmith was allegedly walking up to girls and standing closely behind them, taking video through a hole in his oversized sweater. Investigators say the Duluth man had captured images of 144 girls at the event. When he was arrested, officers say they also found a hard drive with images and videos of child abuse involving minors. He's due in court next month.
Hibbing city leaders celebrated the opening of a new manufacturing building. Community members, business leaders, and elected officials gathered on Friday for the ribbon cutting ceremony. The new 35,000 square foot facility is in the North Hibbing Industrial Park. The building itself is owned by the Hibbing Economic Development Authority and is being leased to Advanced Machine Guarding Solutions. With the new building, AMGs will increase automation, enhance production capacity, and create 12 new jobs. The facility was made possible through a $9 million investment from DEED, along with funding from IRRR and other organizations.
A new extended stay destination is officially up and open to guests in the heart of downtown Duluth. The Force on 5th Avenue building is located on North 5th Avenue West and West Superior Street near Maurice's. Titanium Partners celebrated the opening of the space with a ribbon cutting on Friday. The space is geared toward business travelers, vacationers, and guests needing a temporary place to stay. The Force on 5th Avenue developers also have plans to add a coffee shop in the building.